In early May 2023, the United States government announced a bounty of $10 million for information leading to the capture of a Russian man responsible for running a website called Try to Check. This online service, central to the cybercrime underworld for nearly 2 decades, specialized in verifying the authenticity of stolen credit card data. As revealed by forensic accountants, the suspect, Denis Kulkov, is believed to have generated profits as high as $50 million from his operations. The discovery of photos featuring a lavish collection of luxury vehicles, including a Ferrari, points to a lifestyle of opulence and highlights Kulkov's brazen disregard for concealing his extravagant spending. The U.S. government's use of bounties, such as the $10 million for Denis Kulkov, is a strategic tool in combating international crime. These bounties not only incentivize the capture of criminals but also serve as a barometer for identifying the world's most wanted individuals. The size of the bounty often reflects the severity of the crimes committed and the level of threat the individual poses to global security. The announcement of a substantial bounty places the individual at the forefront of international law enforcement efforts, highlighting their significance in the criminal world. Historically, several infamous figures have been labeled as most wanted, due to the high bounties on their heads. One such individual was Osama bin Laden, the mastermind behind the 9/11 attacks, who had a $25 million bounty on his head. Another was Joaquin Guzman, also known as El Chapo, the infamous kingpin who once headed the Sinaloa cartel, one of the most powerful narcotics trafficking organizations in the world. The U.S. government had offered a reward of up to $5 million for information leading to his arrest. These figures, like Denis Kulkov, represent different facets of global crime, from terrorism to narcotics distribution, and illustrate the various threats that the use of high-value bounties seek to neutralize. Kulkov's case takes this precedent to a new level. His bounty, set at an astounding $10 million, currently sits as the highest globally for an indicted individual still awaiting prosecution. This alone reinforces the assertion that Denis Kulkov is, according to publicly available information, the most sought-after individual in the world today. The underground trade of illicit credit cards is a key part of the crime underworld. It centers around the theft, verification, and subsequent use or resale of credit card information acquired through illegal methods. Despite lacking the overt menace of terrorism or drug trafficking, the illicit trade of stolen credit cards is a serious crime with profound impacts. It not only entails financial losses for consumers, but burdens financial institutions with higher costs, while fueling other cybercrimes like identity theft and money laundering. Hence, credit card fraud, though less visible, undermines financial stability and personal security on a large scale. Kulkov's operation, processing millions of transactions and generating significant revenue, exemplifies the scale and severity of this crime, and the substantial bounty on him reflects the potential future risks he poses. Despite the shutdown of Try to Check, Kulkov's knowledge and experience in validating stolen credit card data is an invaluable asset in the cybercrime underworld. Therefore, the $10 million bounty represents the effort to capture and prevent Kulkov from leveraging his skills to enable copycat services, which could continue to propagate financial cybercrime on a global scale.
Skimming costs financial institutions and U.S. consumers more than $1 billion each year.
Skimming, which is when people steal money from credit cards and debit cards, we decided, who would know about this? Who's investigating this? Well, it turns out it's the U.S. Secret Service.
Established in 2005, Try to Check quickly escalated to handling in excess of 1 million transactions monthly, at a cost of 20 cents per verification for the customer. Try to Check took advantage of an unnamed company's pre-authorization service, whereby a business, such as a hotel, requests a pre-authorization charge on a customer's card to confirm that it is valid and has the necessary credit available. Try to Check impersonated a merchant seeking pre-authorization in order to extract information about credit card validity. The aim was to efficiently sort out inactive cards before they were used in criminal activities. Once stolen, credit card data is sold in large batches on secret online marketplaces, known as carding shops. These digital marketplaces operate similarly to conventional e-commerce sites, but deal exclusively in illegal merchandise, primarily credit card details. Buyers in these markets use services like Try to Check to verify the validity of the purchased card data. This step is crucial, as inactive or canceled cards are useless for fraudulent transactions. To ensure the usability of these cards and to maintain customer trust, carding shops often have systems in place for refunds or replacements for invalid cards. This underground ecosystem thrives on anonymity, sophisticated encryption, and operates in a constantly shifting landscape to evade authorities and cybersecurity efforts. Try to Check's reliability was so exceptional that it eventually became the designated card checking service for several of the cybercrime underground's most active marketplaces, including Vault Market, UniCC, and Joker's Stash. Customers of these carding marketplaces could opt for the integrated card verification service provided by Try to Check, and were assured automatic refunds for any cards identified as inactive or canceled. Beginning in May of 2023, visitors to the Try to Check website were greeted with a domain seizure notice from the U.S. Secret Service and the U.S. Department of Justice. This development coincided with the unveiling of an indictment and a search warrant by prosecutors in the Eastern District of New York, which identified Denis Kulkov from Samara, Russia, as the owner of the operation. Simultaneously, the U.S. Department of State announced a reward of $10 million for information leading to the arrest or conviction of Kulkov. A Secret Service document notes that Try to Check was initially promoted on the exclusive Russian cybercrime forum called Mazafaka, under the alias Krinjo. This username was linked to the same ICQ instant messenger account as a Mazafaka user named Nordex, later determined to be Kulkov. In February 2005, the Nordex username made a post expressing interest in hacked bank accounts. The government's search warrant reveals that Kulkov, under the Nordex username, communicated with forum members at that time, identifying himself as Denis, a 24-year-old from Samara, Russia. Further investigations led to the discovery of Instagram accounts where Kulkov had shared images of his Ferrari and his family. Law enforcement was able to ascertain that Kulkov owned an iCloud account under the handle nordexan@icloud.com. This account yielded passport photos of Kulkov, as well as additional images showcasing his family and expensive cars. As with many leading cybercriminals operating from Russia or nations allied with the Kremlin, connecting the owner of Try to Check to a real-world identity wasn't particularly challenging. In the case of Denis Kulkov, a key factor for U.S. investigators was access to a trove of personal information linked to a cryptocurrency exchange he had utilized. Furthermore, an account was set up on the Russian news website Bankir, from an IP address located in Samara, using the nordexan@icloud.com email address, and it included key details such as Kulkov's birth date, phone number, and address. Next, in 2015, a luxury vehicle was registered at this address by Kulkov. The phone number associated with this vehicle also matched the number associated with the Nordexan iCloud account. Over the years, Kulkov's Ferrari has attracted the attention of Russian car enthusiasts, leading to it being photographed numerous times, including one notable instance where the photographer curiously chose to obscure the driver's face, possibly at the request of Kulkov. In general, the crux of the challenge for U.S. law enforcement lies not in identifying key Russian cybercriminals, but in devising innovative strategies to apprehend these high-value targets. These criminals often enjoy a degree of protection within Russia's borders, as long as their activities don't harm Russian companies, Russian consumers, or state interests. Russia's constitution also prohibits the extradition of Russian citizens. As of December 2023, Kulkov remains at large, and is most likely involved with one or more of the other websites offering validation of stolen credit card information. However, the onset of Russia's conflict with Ukraine has significantly disrupted the dynamics within the cybercrime underworld. Criminal groups that once operated seamlessly across both Russian and Ukrainian territories found themselves at a crossroads, reevaluating alliances as many members found themselves aligned with opposing sides in the conflict. Numerous cybercriminals, who previously conducted their operations unchallenged by Russian and Ukrainian authorities, opted to leave these countries in the wake of the war. This exodus provided international law enforcement agencies with unique chances to apprehend some of the most sought-after figures in the cybercriminal world. One such example is that of Mark Sokolovsky. At just 26 years old, Sokolovsky, a Ukrainian national, was charged for his central role in the Raccoon Info Stealer operation, a malware service that infected millions of computers worldwide. By leasing access to this malware for $200 a month, cybercriminals could steal vast amounts of personal data from unsuspecting victims, including financial information and login credentials. This stolen information was either used for financial crimes or sold on cybercrime forums. Sokolovsky was arrested in the Netherlands in March 2022, following his attempt to evade Ukraine's mandatory military service, and was later extradited to the United States. Another similar case involved Vyacheslav Penchikov, a 40-year-old Ukrainian, who led an infamous cybercriminal group that defrauded millions from businesses in the US and Europe. Like Sokolovsky, he left the country in the wake of the Russia-Ukraine war, likely as a means of avoiding military service. Penchikov leveraged the Zeus banking Trojan to infiltrate companies and execute elaborate financial crimes. His innovative cyber attacks allowed him to silently siphon data submitted through websites. Despite his political connections in Ukraine shielding him from prosecution for years, Penchikov was eventually arrested in Switzerland in October 2022. It's likely that Penchikov, like Sokolovsky, fled Ukraine to avoid the draft. It's essential to recognize that Denis Kulkov is just one piece of a much larger puzzle. Around the globe, several other individuals, like Kulkov, are the subjects of substantial bounties exceeding $5 million. The US government has offered a staggering $5 million for information leading to the capture of Felicien Kabuga. Kabuga's involvement in the Rwandan genocide of 1994 shook the world. Accused of financing and supporting the genocide, he is alleged to have played a pivotal role in the violence that claimed the lives of hundreds of thousands. Next, the senior members of Abu Sayyaf, an Islamic separatist group in the Philippines, each individually carry bounties of up to $8 million, offered by the U.S. Rewards for Justice program. These individuals are wanted for their involvement in a series of brutal and deadly attacks, including kidnappings, bombings, and acts of terror that have left a trail of destruction and suffering across the Philippines and globally. Next, Joseph Kony, with a $5 million bounty on his head, stands accused of leading a reign of terror marked by mass child kidnappings, forced military recruitment, and brutal violence in Uganda. The international community remains resolute in its determination to bring Kony to justice. Finally, Yulan Carias, an alleged leader of MS-13 for all of Honduras, has a significant bounty placed on him. The United States Department of State is offering a reward of up to $5 million for information leading to his arrest or conviction. As the supposed leader of MS-13 in Honduras, Archaga Carias allegedly controlled the criminal activities of the gang in Honduras and provided support and resources to the MS-13 enterprise in Central America and the United States. His activities reportedly involved controlling multi-ton shipments of cocaine through Honduras to the United States and ordering or participating in the murders of rival gang members. In summary, the pursuit of individuals like Denis Kulkov, Felicien Kabuga, members of Abu Sayyaf, and Joseph Kony underscores the unwavering commitment of nations to hold perpetrators of heinous crimes accountable. These substantial bounties serve as a testament to the global effort to ensure justice prevails, regardless of the nature of the crime or the passage of time. The analysis of these cases serves as a reminder that the pursuit of justice is a shared endeavor, driven by the hope for a safer and more just world for all.